today is day 131 of the year of streaming and learning to code. We are continuing on here at Codecademy. We have just finished Ruby 100% of the way through. That is just the generic Ruby course. Now we get to dive into Ruby on Rails. The last Ruby course was 9 hours. This guy, learn Ruby to program in Ruby, a flexible language used to create sites like Codecademy. I do like the site. Guess I should have reflected more on that. It's just a pain. Let's see what else they have to offer. We're moving on to learning Ruby on Rails. This is only 5 hours. The next portion will be Ruby on Rails authentication, which is only 2. So that's that. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the course has to offer. Overview. Course outcomes. Build 8 full-fledged web applications with Rails, one of the most popular and easy-to-use web application development frameworks. By the end of the course, you will get familiarity around Rails core concepts like the MVC design pattern, how to communicate with databases to persist data. Rails is a Ruby-based framework and builds off knowledge from the Ruby course. Why learn Ruby on Rails? As one of the most powerful ways to quickly develop web applications, Ruby on Rails has a high relevance and demand in today's marketplace. Companies like Airbnb, Fab.com, Hulu, and even Codecademy have built their products using the Rails framework. Aha! So Codecademy is using Ruby on Rails, not just Ruby alone. Cool. Fair enough. What are we doing? Using Codecademy have built their products using the Rails framework. Building with Rails also offers a good opportunity to put into practice all the skills you've learned so far, from implementing static web pages with HTML and CSS to using programming concepts like object-oriented programming. Aha! Look at that. Look at that. So now what? Syllabus. There are a lot of pro stuff. So 5 sections. There's getting started with the getting started lesson. So 1 activity in 1. Saving data. 1 activity there for us. Associations 1. Also 1 free lesson. Associations 2. 1 free lesson there. And 5. Putting it all together. Just kidding. Well, there is a section 5, putting it all together, but that's paid for only. So we only have 4 lessons in Rails. Good to know. I'm assuming their 5-hour estimated time for Ruby on Rails is in regards to all the pro stuff, unless the 4 sections, the single lesson in all 4, unless they're just like gigantic. So we'll end up diving into that. Hey, Topher, how you doing? Hopefully your day is going well. It seems like, just going over the overview before I dive into the Rails section, I didn't realize, didn't really dawn on me, that Codecademy is built primarily on Rails. And I do enjoy the Codecademy site, so that is kind of a saving grace. I do think, since it was all the generic base level stuff, how they delivered it with the zero coding background reference didn't sit well after doing so many entry-level courses. It just felt kind of unnecessary. But here, Ruby on Rails, it does seem very jQuery to JavaScript-esque, Rails to Ruby. So yeah, here they were mentioning they use the Rails framework to build their site. So that is a tiny silver lining, and I'm glad to see that there are also very few courses. As much as I want to learn Rails, we're still on the edge. We haven't given up hope on Ruby, but we're definitely on the edge. And with that said, I think we can just dive right into this. Getting started. Go time. She's loading. She's loading. All right. Another one of the giant panel courses. What other course had that gigantic panel where it didn't match up with the web frame, you know? Or the webcam, the frame of the webcam? It was one of the recent ones. Not important. How many sections are in this guy? 6. Holy hell, we're gonna fly through Rails. Why? Good to know. That's fine. They've got all the paid content. But that's okay. Topher, thinking about getting started with streaming again. That would be fun. That would be cool. I'd be into that. Streaming's been good. I definitely don't think there would definitely be days where I wouldn't be coding if I didn't feel the need to stream. The stream has definitely kept me in check for my little personal project here. It's also helped with the input. I know it would be good and probably different. I'd probably be able to get through the courses more quickly. If I wasn't yammering every single thought out loud into the ether. But I think it's been good having the occasional people come in. Getting this setup right is annoying. Yeah, I still need to... I tinkered with... what's it called? Fuck. Totally drawn a blank. Just the OBS setup. I still need to set up like the follower notifications and all that stuff, and there's tons of great resources. One in particular, nerdordie.com, where they've got like all the files already set up, kind of like through the Streamlabs, and Muxy, and a bunch of other stuff. Nerdordie website and YouTube channel. He's got some great tutorial stuff for novice people like me who just dove straight into it, that needed to know how the hell to set all that stuff up. Some great tutorials for both Streamlabs and Muxy, and a couple of the other ones that have all the log files for shooting up the notifications. I did tinker with that stuff early on before I dove into the whole year of streaming project. I think once I hit the 50 follower mark, which I'm right at about 44, I think, which is pretty cool. Thank you to all the followers. The 44, that's still crazy. Once I hit about 50 followers and the 2,000 views, I'm probably going to invest more time into setting that stuff up. Mainly because I'll probably apply for, there's that, the Twitch Associates program, which is like the sub-level to partner. Basically, it lets you sign up for bits. So that's cool. Yay bits, right? Bits are fun. I don't know the conversion rate of bits, but point is there's a lot of setup stuff. I still need to, and I have so many things set up, like that stupid Discord server thing. I need to, not that it's dumb, Discord's great, but me just trying to juggle everything. All I need to do is add that thumbnail to the info section. It's just, there's so many little things to do. Setting up streaming stuff, it's a never-ending updating battle. Good times though. Totally sidetracked. But yeah, I agree. I think you streaming would be super duper awesome. Just because. So that's my 2 cents. Ruby on Rails is something. We're faced with 6 sections. Maybe these are giant sections. They've got 4 instructions. Not terrible. Let's find out what we're up against. Maybe Rails is what makes Ruby spectacular. Maybe Rails is what makes Ruby shine. Look at that. See, that's like kind of like a gem joke. Good. Not a good one. Maybe that's more of a pun. Focus, damn it. Focus. Ruby on Rails is a framework that makes it easy to build powerful web apps in a short amount of time. Ruby on Rails is written in the Ruby programming language. If you're new to Ruby, we recommend you do this course first. Who wants to bet it was the last course? It is. Look at that. Completed. You know why? Because I stuck it out. We conquered Ruby. Alright, so do this course, which we just finished. Instructions. 1. Let's get started by making a Rails app for a personal website. We'll explain each step in the next exercise in the terminal. Type $, which is already there. Is that just the cursor? That $'s just sitting there. That's part of life here in the Ruby universe. Rails new my site. Enter. Aha. Wow, there's a lot going on. Vendor stuff and public stuff and config and bins and app things. There's a lot going on. Then run $, which is already there. Bundle install. Bundle install. Enter. This is fun. This is already better than the entire Ruby course we just finished. Alright, and I don't even know what's happening. This is a good sign. Finally type Rails server. Yes, yes. Come to the Ruby side. Server. Enter. I'm curious, can JavaScript and Ruby play together? That's probably not the correct terminology or situation to reference, but that's what we're going to stick with. Do they mingle well? Are there JavaScript/Ruby sites? I feel like that's a conflict of interest. Kind of like an oil and water thing? Maybe not. Yes? Ah, Topher. Yes, they can. Good to know. Cool. Okay. I don't know if I was like... Because as of now, it seemed like it was very kind of one-sided, like either your JavaScript or Ruby, just from who's been in chat and stuff, and even from my own preferences, I'm leaning very JavaScript-y. But it seems like there's still a decent crowd for Ruby. It's just hard to tell. JavaScript can live on the client side. Oh, and Ruby on the server side. Interesting. Okay, so it's one of those things. Fascinating. Huh. Good to know. That'll help. That's an important pro tip. We'll keep that in mind for any side projects we do. Good. Lastly, 4. View the Rails app in the browser by visiting local blah blah blah, which is the normal one up here, and click next to figure out what these commands do. Oh, what did we do? So bundle install, we did $ something, and it spit out all the create stuff. Then we did bundle install, fetching gem metadata, resolving, and then it's using all kinds of stuff. And then your bundle is complete. And then we've got Rails server, booting WebRick, Rails 4.blah, run Rails, some timestamp stuff, info, good. Okay, so now we're viewing, clickety-click, not found. I'm assuming that's good and that's supposed to happen. Then click next to figure out what these commands do, and I can't click next. Refresh. Might be my fault. Yeah, I'm not... Do I need to smile more? Why doesn't it want to work? Let's refresh the page and pretend like nothing went wrong. It was going well. web browser stuff, view the Rails app in the browser by visiting, click, not found. Son of a bitch. This is how it all ends. Do they have the get code function? No, that's all it paid for nonsense. Close that. Enter. Huh. All I had to do is hit end. Okay, so it was just good enough. I just needed to hit enter. All is well. It was a user error. They were just looking for me to hit the enter key. Everything's good. So we installed and did all that stuff. Marching on. Section 2. All right. Nice work. In 3 commands, you built a working Rails app that displays the result default page. Didn't display the result default page, but we went through the general idea. How does it work? 1, the Rails new command creates a new Rails app named MySite. It generated a number of files and folders that we will use to build the app. In the code editor, click on the folder icon. This guy. On the folder icon to see these files and folders. We'll see what these files and folders are for in the next exercise. The Rails new command is the starting point of every Rails project. 2, the bundle install command installed all the software packages needed by the new Rails app. These software packages are called gems, and they're listed in the file gem file. 3, the Rails server command started the Rails development server so that we could preview the app in the browser by visiting localhost blah blah blah. This development server is called Webrick. Okay. Instructions. The new Rails app contains a number of files and folders. Click next to find out how they work together. Okay, so I didn't need to open anything. We're just saying, look the files. This is where everything is. Hashtag file life. Close that guy. Clickety click on next. 3 of things are loading. Things are upset. Academy is thinking. There's a lot of flickering. Okay. 3 of 6. Good times. Good times. All right. What happens when you visit localhost 8000 in the browser? Check it out in the diagram in the browser. I'm assuming it's this guy. Probably. The browser makes a request for the URL localhost 8000. 2. The request hits the Rails router in config/routes.rb. The router recognizes the URL and sends the request to the controller. 3. The controller receives the request and processes it. 4. The controller passes the request to the view. Then 5. The view renders the page as HTML. And 6. The controller sends the HTML back to the browser for you to see. This is called the request response cycle. It's a useful way to see how a Rails app files and folders together. Instructions. 1 of 2. Looking at the request response cycle, we need 3 parts to build a Rails app: a controller, a route, and a view. Let's start by creating a controller. In the terminal, type Rails generate controller page. All right. Rails generate controller pages. Enter. Aha. Whole lot of stuff going on. Cool. Okay. So there's that. 2. After Rails generate finishes running in the code editor, open app controllers. That's hold on. In the code editor up here, open app controllers to pages. Guys, there's a lack of pages. Maybe we went to the wrong area. Files in the code editor. open, app, ta-da, controllers, and then page controllers. Maybe it's in concerns? Concerns doesn't open. They've only got application controllers. Maybe I'm crazy. Temporary, public, logs, library, database, config, bins. Try refreshing. Cool. Let me close that. Oh, no, that's reset exercise. We're just gonna refresh as a whole on the page. Refreshing. She's thinking. She's thinking. Still got the green check mark. That's comforting. And we're looking over here. Files, app, controllers, concerns, application controller. Concerns doesn't do anything. Maybe we have to create the file. After, you know what? Actually add a file. Right? No? Maybe? God, I hope so. Controllers. New file. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do a new file. And we're gonna call it... What if I do the .rb? I don't think I do the .rb. I'm just gonna do page controller. And add. Just control. Oh no, they've got the .rb. Son of a. Edit. Rename. There you go. Dot. Son of a. God. Rename. .rb. Okay. Let's give this a shot. See, because application controller. Oh, of course, can't see it. Full screen? Well, there's whispers of .rb in there somewhere. So we're going to close that. We're going to make you not full screen. I'm pretty sure something's wrong with this exercise, but we're going to keep forging ahead, damn it, because that's what we do here. After Rails generate finishes running in the code editor, open app controllers page, pages underscore controller.rb. Within the class, pages controller, add a method, home. We're just going to add all this stuff. We're just going to copy and put exactly what they want. I'm assuming pages controller should be there, and it would probably have class page controllers and end. I'd probably just be defining home and end. So I think if we copy it all the flames surrounding the city should die out. Go ahead and run. Thinking, and she's still thinking. Maybe I have to hit enter down in the bash. Enter in the bash file. Oops, the test returned an error. Maybe you have a syntax error. Maybe you can go to hell. Happy thoughts, Steven. Run again. I think in this, because this is their newer environment where they break the activities down by each instruction per section. So I think if I run and get an error 3 times, they ask, do I want to correct the code? And I'm hoping to just get that correct the code error message. Then it should auto-update. Aha! Look at that. See that? Who called it? Get code. So let's see what they have, and hopefully it corrects the issue. Nothing like having to troubleshoot the website you're trying to learn how to code from. Get code. And there's a lot of issues. They gave us the green check mark. You know what? Maybe spaces. Do spaces matter in Ruby? I see that everything is all nestled together right now. And, oh no, okay, application controller is just highlighted. I thought, don't worry, we're good. I thought they auto-opened application controller, but we're still in the pages controller file we opened. We're going to march on to the next one and see what they have to offer for. We're just going to chalk it up to some buggy page, poorly written code, or my favorite, my stupidity. I probably just misunderstood their instructions. All right, great. Now we created a new controller named Pages. Sure. How do we do this? 1. The Rails generate controller pages command generated a new controller named Pages. This created a file named app controller pages. Whoa. What? So we were supposed to do something that created it. Is that what was supposed to happen? So we weren't supposed to manually add it? Thus the refreshing suggestion from Topher. Okay, so it was supposed to end up in there on its own. Somehow that didn't happen. We put it in though manually, and we're here in section 4. So we're going to pretend everything is okay. Once more though, for fun, the Rails generate controller pages command generated a new controller named Pages. This created a file named app/controller/pagescontroller.rb. Inside the new Pages controller, we added a method called home. Methods in Rails controllers are also referred to as controller actions. So here we added the home action to the Pages controller, which was this bit, lines 2 and 3. Instructions. Now that we have the controller, let's move on to the second part of the request response cycle and create a route. Open config routes.rb and underneath line 1 type get welcome pages. So opening this, config routes. Am I on drugs? I'm looking in the wrong area. You know what it is? It's down here. No, it's not down here. What the hell? That's to just create a second batch tab. What the oh, routes, locals. Routes was within. There we go. I thought it was going to be under the primary config file because they just had the single slash versus they went into multiple folders. This guy, we are in config, but it's under locales. No, it is under there. I'm crazy. Don't mind me. We haven't done lunch. We skipped lunch. We decided, hey, streaming was a good idea. Apparently, not eating before streaming is a bad idea. Crazy guy. It is within the main config. These are the folders within config. These are the files within config. We're diving right into routes. All is well. All is normal. Underneath line 1, which would be line 2, right? Maybe. That's what it would seem to be to me. Type blah blah blah. We're going to highlight this guy. And we're going to make this full screen. So, rails.application.routes.draw do. The priority is based upon the order of creation. First created. That's black and gray. That's not any easier to read. Maybe it's easier to read. I'm trying to think what's easier for stream to see. I really don't think it matters. The priority is based upon the order of creation. First created, highest priority. See how all your routes lay out the rake routes? You can have the root of your site routed with root. Root, welcome, hashtag index. Example of a regular route. Get product/ID. Catalog, hashtag view. Example of a route that can be invoked with purchase underscore URL ID product.id. Get products / ID purchase catalog purchases as purchase. Example resource route maps HTTP verbs. Controller automatically resource. I don't know if I'm supposed to read all this. There's a lot of stuff going on. These are all kinds of examples, which are fun. But I just feel like that's a lot of info and noise. They're saying after 1. So I'm going to do exactly that. Paste. So fire away. We're going to make it small again. Run. And it gave us an error. Fantastic. Good. That's what we love, because, you know, how much more confusing could this be? Apparently we were wrong. So now that we have a controller, let's move on to the second part of the request. Open config routes underneath line 1. Do that. Is it me? Am I that dumb? It could be. I'd like to note they've got a line 58 open, available after end, which technically would be 57 if we didn't drop this guy here. So, see, they have an extra space after that. All of this is commented out. It just doesn't make sense that they've got rails.application.routes.drawDo with everything commented out. So this is all empty, followed by an end. I feel like it should be between the do and the end, but we'll try it their way. After line 1 and all their nonsense, let's give it a shot. Close out of that. Minimize you. Looking at line 57, and we're running. And it still hates us. Beautiful. So let's close that. What about if we hit enter and bash again, just for fun? Doesn't like that. We're going to move this guy once more. What if we put it on line 4 and don't move anything? That's an open space. Should we tab? We're going to tab in. On again. Having trouble? How did they know? Get code. Where do they put it? Oh my god, and now there's spaces? Last time, on section 2, they gave us shit for having spaces, and now here, they want spaces. Consistency. Swear to God. It's okay. Happy thoughts, Steven. We'll stay calm. Little kitty's napping on her lap. We freak out. She'll wake up and walk all over the keyboard. Happy thoughts. Who else is getting frustrated at Rails? Anybody? Just me. Good. Good. This is awful. This is what nightmares are made of. So apparently we just needed to add a space, and that's all they wanted. Typical. Typical. Next. All right. Well done. Now, when a user visits localhost 8000/welcome, the route getWelcome pages home will tell Rails to send this request to the page's controller home action. Instructions. Now we have a controller and a route. Let's move on to the third part of the request, response, cycle, and create a view. Open app, views, pages, home.html.erb, and type the following HTML. Fill in your own name. We've got div class main, div class container. Hello, my name is blah. I make Rails apps. Closing div tags. We've provided CSS in the file app assets style sheets pages.css.scss. Love sass. All right, that's just my little bit and throwing that out there into the ether. So what are we opening? Open apps, views, pages, home.html.erb. Okay, and now we're adding type the following, and all we have to do is drop in our own name. Let's do this. We'll do BDX. We'll even keep the underscore that they've provided. One of them at least. BDX underscore ink. And run. Possibly. Okay, so it's me. So we've done that. That's okay. Let's do enter. Still something's hilariously wrong. It can't be me. It's gotta be me. I'm doing something wrong. I'm operating the site, the code editor wrong, the terminal wrong, right? I'm the fool. Maybe I need to have the localhost 8000 thing up and running. Maybe I need to check that after doing that. Not found, and then we do enter again in the terminal. No. Guys, come on, it's gotta be... How could that be wrong? Not that it matters, and I'm pretty sure I already know the answer. That it's just super buggy or something. But let's do 5 views. Codecademy. Need help with 5 views. Yeah, good. Topher says look at the full error. I like that plan too. It's just usually their full errors scare me. Home. DC, let's can we zoom in a little? Is there more after now? No, there isn't. Okay, so the test returned an error, maybe a syntax error or a typo. Hide error. home/cc.user.gem/ruby.2.3.0 gems active support 4.1.4 library active support value time zones .rb285 warning circular argument reference now. You know, I've avoided their full errors because usually they're 85 lines long, and I don't understand what any of it means. So that's only one line, though, and it seems like it's pretty straightforward, but I don't know in what context they're referring to. So let's try refreshing. As Topher suggests, it's not anything to do with code you've written. Cool. Okay, that's what I couldn't tell. Again, learning state. I don't know if it's my fault for not being good enough or theirs, but that's good to know for confirming that it's not my fault for typing anything wrong. Refreshing. It's loading. He's loading. I'm pretty sure it's a bug. I know Codecademy is riddled with interesting quirks, we'll call it, to put it nicely. So, and now the whole page is gone. Actually, they may have saved it. It was at views, pages, home. Yeah, all that's gone. Typical. Copy, paste, BDX, ink, run that, and enter here, and local stuff, and refresh, and enter, and run. Yeah, we're just going to see what their issue is. So get code. See, what I've noticed is that the terminal has been closed each time. That's what I think the issue is. I think I should have the terminal closed out and not have the bash file open. But I don't know why they open the activity with the bash file open in each one. And also I don't know why an empty terminal or bash file would cause an issue. But this is the only thing that I've noticed consistent for the last 4 of the 6 things, is that's been closed. Yeah, David, whoever set this up, David is a liar. So we're gonna reflect on that for a while. I was mainly looking at the forums just to make sure that it's broken. Don't mind me, and we'll get to 6. And frankly, we're pissed enough with Ruby on Rails, or we're just gonna let it die for today. So yay, short stream. We'll try to power through 2, 3, and 4 another day, but I'm ready to jump out the window after this. So it's gonna be that hard to learn Rails. It'd be easier to watch a YouTube video. Alright, what did this dude experience? We're only going to look at this one. Hello, I'm on the first section, which is copy and pasting of the code. First section? Yeah, 5. Part 1, what we were dealing with. I'm on the first section, which is copying and pasting of the code to see how Rails setup goes. I'm receiving this error and I don't know why. Oops, the error return, maybe syntax error, hide, home user, cursor 4.1, library, time zone, blah, 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 circular agreement, reference now. Same one we got. I've checked the code several times, and it's copied correctly from the instructions, and even restarted the entire course 3 times, but I'm still hitting the same problem. Can anyone offer help? Okay, weirder still. Hit Command R to reload the whole web page, and it suddenly worked without changing any code. Definitely odd. Topic solved. Someone's lying. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. So let's look at that. It's just a ghost in the system. Onwards to section 6. Congratulations. Definitely not the appropriate word of choice here, but you survived, or kudos for stumbling through. That would probably be more apt to the situation. But congratulations, you built a Rails app from scratch. I don't think so. We can, what can we generalize so far? Using the request response cycle, let's see what they're referencing here, as the guide. This has been our workflow with making a Rails app. What are they referencing? Ah, they've got a story that we can read. That will probably be more help than the entire section we just did now, but we're going to go through. This has been our workflow for when making a Rails app. 1. Generate a new Rails app. 2. Generate a controller and add an action. 3. Create a route that maps to a URL to controller action. Create a view with HTML and CSS. Run the local web server and preview the app in the browser. So let's do story time first, because that is within the instructional bit, kind of, for section 6. All right, brace yourselves for story time. Request response cycle 1. Guide for navigating a Rails app with static pages. Sounds almost interesting. Background. Ooh, good. Prologue to our fairy tale. When developing a Rails app, request response cycle is a useful guide to see how all apps, files, and folders fit together. The request response cycle traces how the request response cycle traces how a user's request flows through the app. Understanding the request response cycle is helpful to figure out which files to edit when developing an app and where to look when things aren't working. How it works. We even get pictures in our story. Pretty awesome. It's a whole image. Let's zoom in slightly. All right. Let's do... Great, now that we zoomed in, it's all the scrolling weird. We zoomed out. There we go. How it works. 1. A user opens his browser, types URL, and presses enter. Ta-da! 2. User presses enter, then the browser makes a request for that URL, continues down to Rails router. 3. The request hits the Rails router, config/route.rb, the router maps the URL to the correct controller and action to handle the request. 4, the action receives the request and passes it onto the view. 5, the view renders the page as HTML. And then 6, the controller sends the HTML back to the browser, the page loads, and the user sees it. In this way, the request response cycle is a useful way to see how a Rails app's files and folders are for and how they fit together. All right. Basically everything we just went through in here. And yeah, it's just, I still don't see the point of it. Again, I'd rather just use JavaScript and HTML and CSS, but I suppose there could be a need for Ruby. We just haven't quite stumbled across it yet. Up next, what do we have? Saving data. Learn how to add a database to a Rails app. Hopefully that's far less painful and not filled with as many quirks and or bugs. Or maybe I just learn how to be better at Ruby and stop messing up. Although I don't think it was entirely my fault. What do we have on the horizon for tomorrow? There are 7 sections of a lot of flickering on my end on the screen. Things are loading. 7 sections of potential hell or fun. No one really knows. Let's take a gander at this bit. What is on the horizon for day 132? So far, we've built a Rails app containing a static page. To do this, we used a controller and a route and a view. The request response cycle summarizes how these 3 parts work together. However, a Rails app with static pages looks the same for all users. How can we create apps that save information? We do this with a database. Here's how a database fits into the request response cycle. Check out the diagram in the browser. Tomorrow, we will click on this. I'm pretty sure it's the same article we just read. And it most certainly is. We're going to close out of those 2. Let's see where we stand stat-wise as we conclude day 131. Who knew Ruby on Rails would be even more painful than Ruby? Shocking. We learn a little something new every day. We've made it 25% of the way through Ruby on Rails with 1,512 points to our name and 210 badges. Good times. Good times. Let's go ahead and back out of this. Topher, thank you again for stopping by. Greatly appreciate it. And to anyone else who may have stumbled in to view the stream, any and all views are greatly appreciated as well. The adventure continues tomorrow with day 132. In the meantime, day 131 comes to an end. Stopping the stream. Are you sure you want to stop the stream? Hell yeah. Kill it.